at home are enjoying. There's a lot of StarCraft streams this weekend. Whatever your flavor may be, whatever your favorite matchup may be, unless it's PvP, you probably can see a lot of it this weekend. And here we go. Alright, here we go on Aklon Waste down here in the bottom right. Our Zerg champion, he is...
Wongjin Star Soki from Korea.
And that is where he qualified from and actually resides. Up here in the top left, our Terran player, he has been around in the StarCraft 2 Pro scene a long time. He is...
EG Allied Raidcall from America.
And that is, of course, where he qualified, was the American WCS. He is, in fact, a Korean player. Does live over here in Korea. Alright, so now is the interesting part where we get to watch and see what does Sulky actually choose to do. And we see him opening up with a drone scout, and this is something that we saw basically every game from Sulky in the GSL finals. The drone scout is definitely something that's quite useful. Notice the areas that he's actually checking. He's checking some really clever and interesting areas. Now this shows that he knows that Alive watched those matches to get ready. And that wasn't necessarily a spot that he was scouting before, so that would be a good spot to actually hide something. So he goes there, checks, knowing that Alive won't put it somewhere that Sulky checks normally right away. Because there's a lot of games out there for Alive to watch that Sulky has played. So, very clever, very meta scouting moves here from Sulky. And of course, with the drone scout, you lose quite a few minerals, but overall, it's going to make you a lot safer. You know, he feels like he is a better player. In fact, that's a pretty quick pull as well, following up the hatchery. Like, he is not wasting any time whatsoever getting his defenses up. Everything I've seen so far points me towards thinking that Sulky thinks as long as he doesn't die in the early game, he will be able to defeat Alive. So that's kind of interesting. That makes me lean more towards the fact that Sulky, while he may put on some aggression, is slightly less likely to all in. He may actually go for macro games in 2 or 3 games in this series. Now the drone will end up dying here. Notice how that SCV is standing right next to the geyser? That's to block the drone from making a gas right there. When you have a worker right next to the geyser, it actually blocks where they can build. So that makes it, you know, if he could make a geyser there, the drone stays alive. The Reaper, does he stay and try to kill the geyser, or does he leave? Both are really bad choices, so a good move there from Alive. He was not going to allow that to occur. So this is a pretty standard opening from Alive. He's going for a couple Reapers, expanding and going right into a factory. This is going to give him a lot of map control and a decent amount of harassment and pressure. He's forcing some lings. We're going to see a pretty quick speed. The drone count is having to stay pretty small. He can't mine from that natural quite yet. But now that he has that queen out, it's going to be a little bit easier. And with speed on the way, the time for these Reapers to be really effective will be over when that speed upgrade is done. They're going to have to get out of there. But by that time, you know, these Reapers, oh, that's some pretty good micro so far. He just has to make sure he doesn't lose either of them, because these are going to be joined up with the Hellions later on. And when they join up with those Hellions, they're kind of like, you know, they're a little bit extra damage. They're a similar speed to the Hellions, so it kind of works out. And they heal themselves when not under attack. So they can tank a lot of damage for the Hellions that the Hellions would have to take otherwise. Now, he's getting pretty greedy here trying to get the queen. He has to be very careful not to lose that, and in fact, he does get away. That was a little bit close, though. Alive really pushing with his Reapers there. You know, he realizes that he needs something a little bit extra. He might not do that against a lower level Zerg, but against Sulky he decides, you know what, I have to get something done. And if he gets an early queen kill, that's actually really quite huge. Alright, so we do have speed all finished. He's going to have to be very careful with these Reapers now. And with the Hellions coming out. Looks like he should be okay, yeah, and Sulky gonna have to run away with those Lings for now. Very nice timing there by Alive to have those Hellions out right as the speed finishes up. You know, it shows you how tight of a matchup this is becoming. Now, we do have that Roach Warren about to finish. Now, there's 6 Lings on the way as well, so this is kind of interesting. Sometimes you get, you know, 3, 4, sometimes 5 Roaches just defensively. But the Roach Warren at this time, and the fact that he already has speed, he definitely could put on a lot of aggression. 6 Roaches being made, so we definitely will see a push across the map. Will he throw down a Baneling Nest? Well, he's got 180. I would say, yeah, he probably is. I think we're just going to see a very quick Roach Baneling attack. And with the 3 command centers and double eBay going up right now, as well as that the bunker being part of the wall, it looks like this definitely has the potential to be very effective. The wall in on Akalon Waste is extremely wide and very easy to break through and supply cap your Terran opponent when you attack it. So a couple more bunkers are being produced, but the thing is, he doesn't have that much actual production in ways of barracks. So he's going to have to leapfrog back and forth between these bunkers, which is going to be pretty difficult in and of itself. That Baneling Nest is about to finish. Alive right now, just buying as much time as he possibly can. Because he needs time to get out as many units as possible, as many bunkers finish. But as we see here, you know, there's just not a lot of units for him. Oh, if he can actually kill a few of those, it's helpful. But oh god, this is going to be pretty brutal. He's lost a lot of his Hellions, so few units up here. And here we go. Already that bunker going down, pulling back those Banelings so the Roaches can tank damage. Very well done. Gonna go up and not bust that because he doesn't need to. He'll probably end up going after these SCVs now. And this is a lot of damage already. Oh my god. He's already killed, well, not that many SCVs yet. He's killed 7 SCVs, but this is a lot of units at the front. He's gonna lose every supply depot. He's lost pretty much every unit so far. He has to lift up his command center. And it's a little bit rough. The units lost is going way in the favor of Sulky right now. But there is a siege tank up there. So the game is not necessarily over. But Sulky definitely going to deal a bit more damage, taking out that supply depot. The reactor, if he gets that, that's very nice. The siege tank, this is some great SimCity going on right now by Alive. In fact, brings his SCVs down to block the tanks and marines. So it looks like he'll hold for now. And in fact, this may have been just, well, I don't want to call it an overextension from Sulky because those Roaches weren't really going to be useful anywhere else. But that wasn't as effective towards the end there. And as far as the resources lost, they're within 500 resources of each other. Of course, Sulky having that lead, but Alive held that a little bit better than I thought he would, and that is absolutely because of the siege tanks. If he didn't have those, he would actually be having to get out of the game right now. But he is down to 30 SCVs after losing 22 there, and that makes it pretty rough. Definitely in a position where he is behind. Luckily for him, he does have that +1 attack upgrade a little bit further along. And as of right now, let me take a look. Yeah, he has the 2 command centers completely done, as we saw before, and actually that 3rd command is only halfway done right now. So that could end up being a little bit of an issue. A lot of the times when you take quite a bit of damage from Roach Baneling attack, you already have the 3rd command center up. And when you already have it up, you're dropping triple mules, and you're making a lot of SCVs again. You know, replacing 22 SCVs basically takes 7 SCV rounds out of 3, but out of 2 command centers, that's quite a bit more, 11 SCV rounds. So, gonna be pretty hard for him here. Sulky definitely has gotten himself into a pretty decent position. And in fact, you can see that Sulky's doing some really smart things here. Notice that he's getting Burrow, Baneling Speed, and 1-1. Those are very smart upgrades. Obviously, you know, the Baneling Speed going to be very useful. You always want to have speed in the mid and late game against Stim and Medivacs. But I think the more important thing here is that he's getting Burrow. We're going to see him burrow under where command centers were going to go. We might see some burrowed Banelings, things like that, because he's killed 22 SCVs, and thus all the mules need to be dropped. This is not a game in which Alive can really be using scans out on the map. You know, his economy's too far behind, and he really needs to focus on getting his economy back up to speed via mules. So a very good choice to go ahead and grab that burrow upgrade. Now Live is getting ready to take that third base, as he should. No sense in trying any 2-base shenanigans here. Definitely would get cleaned up very easily. He's going to want to go into 3. This could go into 4 bases even because his main is so close to mined out. With the mutas on the way, Sulky's going to be able to be all over the place. And it's going to be really, he's going to stretch Alive's defenses all the way. Notice there how he had to use that scan for the burrow. That's 1 less mule now. And the 1 less mule, that's about 300 minerals, give or take. So that's another small advantage for a single Zergling and the burrow upgrade, which is now something he knows exists, and he has to be careful about burrowed banelings. Those things could be out at any time. So we do have the drops starting, but of course, Sulky knew the drops would be starting soon. So he has some reasonable coverage of the map, I would say. Maybe a little bit better than reasonable if you look at that mini-map. Blue dots absolutely everywhere, overlords everywhere, and he has the Mutalist tech. So immediately getting caught. He may fly out of there till the lanes come in. They can absorb all those hits and then just go and try to kill the med back. Good move by Alive to save it for now. But basically Sulky has shown that he has every single answer to anything Alive can do. So this is going to be pretty tough. As you can see once again, the burrow upgrade really coming into play. Getting to see absolutely everything that he's doing right now. Sulky basically playing theoretically perfectly from the small advantages he gave himself from the Roach Baneling timing attack. So Live now this is smart. I really love to see the 3 turrets there and some Marines. You have to be very careful against these new Mutalists. They are not afraid in Heart of the Storm of taking out missile turrets. And so he is actually prepared for that. This is actually one of the ways that Sulky ended up killing Innovation in Game 7 of their GSL Finals, was heavy Mutalist harassment. So Alive is completely ready for that. He's saying, okay, you're going to stop my drops maybe, but you're not going to deal any more damage to my economy. That's going to be solid from all these missile turrets. So now Sulky kind of sits around outside of the Terran base waiting to crush things. You notice how he's pushing his creep now, focusing on that. Has great map awareness, flying the Mutalist rounds, making sure he's not taking any damage. But now Alive gets to dictate where and when the next attack occurs, the next battle. Does he move out, or does he just sit and wait for Sulky to do something? That's painful right there, by the way. And that medevac is knocked anyway. So every time you see a medevac go down, by the way, just think of it as 10 supply. Everything in the medevac plus a medevac generally equals about 10 supply, so that's pretty painful right now for Alive to lose, because he hasn't even maxed out yet. There's a big burrowed Baneling landmine there. Sulky just giving himself every chance to get even further ahead here. I think the thing I'm most interested in seeing this game is there are 2 siege tanks out, and I love seeing the combination of a couple siege tanks that were made early for defense with the Widowmine Marine medevac push, where, you know, the siege tanks are going to hit anything coming in, but of course the Widowmines are the real dangerous thing, and they both require different micro. Yeah, well, look at that. They are going to take out the missile turrets anyways. It's a good idea from Alive, but Sulky actually abusing every little thing here. Now, hold on. We actually have the Banelings rolling up. Oh, he wants to get him on top of that landmine. And oh, that was so dirty. So this is getting worse and worse for Alive. You'll notice that the supply is actually getting pretty close, but you can see a difference in banks. Now, Terran always banks a lot of gas. They just don't need as much gas to get served. But as far as minerals go, which is what he really needs, is getting pretty low. Now, the Lings and Banelings just going to clean everything up there. A lot of his units having to be kept at home because of the huge Mutalist Swarm, which, by the way, is about to have +2 attack. A lot more of those on the way still. And again, Sulky, just theoretically speaking, is playing perfectly here. He's so on top of it. He knows exactly what to do, and he's giving Alive basically no chance. Like, Alive has to get a lucky Widowmine or something here. Or maybe a couple lucky Widowmines, because Sulky can remake his army so quickly. Now, what I was talking about with the siege tanks and widow mines, they require different micro. Against siege tanks, you want to get in there as quickly as possible with everything. Against widow mines, you want little groups going forward to set them off. So it's really difficult to actually micro against both that are actually fighting together in tandem, because they do require such a different engagement tactic. Now, it's only 2 siege tanks, so it might not make the biggest difference, but that's what I'm looking to actually learn from this game right now, like to watch and see and just kind of have, like, oh, I remember seeing this Unicom. Oh my god, this is going to be so gross. Alright, you may be asking yourself why he didn't set that off. It's because he's looking at his Milos. There's a lot going on in the game right now. Those Banelings were entirely too good, killing off a lot of Widow Mines. He even got a siege tank there with a couple lands. And this game is basically at this point over. This is not any longer a game that Alive has any real chances in. To the point where we actually see Mutalisk engaging against Marines. And in fact, he has that 3-3 on the way, as well as chitinous plating for Ultralisks. He has that +3 Mutalisk attack on the way. He has 77 drones against 48 SCs. There's nothing left here for Alive. Sulky has played picture perfect since that bust. And, I mean, Alive is going to obviously remain, you know, this is a very important tournament. He needs to try, because what if he gets like 3 or 4 amazing Widow Mine connections? Then maybe he can get into a situation where he can kill off a base or something. And as soon as you start killing a Zerg base as Terran while you're taking your own, you still have some sort of chance. But the way that Sulky has vision on this map, the random Baneling landmines, the fact that he's going to Ultras, he's grabbing a few Infestors, his upgrades are superior. Realistically speaking, Alive doesn't have a lot left here to do. So we do have a drop coming out, still trying to get something done, but Sulky gets to decide, does he go back and crush the drop, or does he just kind of attack, move into him? Looks like he does want to crush. No reason to give any sort of base trade. In fact, why not do both at once? That's pretty good too. That is a lot of Banelings. And the thing is, he doesn't even have to be cost efficient here. When you get a certain amount ahead as Zerg, you can actually trade cost inefficiently for the rest of the game, and Terran can't do anything. So hurting the economy a little bit there, and switching up into Ultra is going to have 6 here in a moment. And of course, against Ultras, you want a lot of Marauders. Right now, 0 Marauders out, 3 in production, so he realizes that this is happening. And in fact, he's just going to sit there and turtle up as heavily as possible. But as soon as a couple fungals go down and those Ultras start connecting with the Marines, it's going to be pretty brutal. So, Sulky, yeah, that's it. GG. Pretty one-sided one there. Sorry, I wish that it would have been a bit more exciting. I guess the exciting part of that is that Sulky plays basically a perfect game there. You know, he hit that little Roach Baneling timing. Alive was going towards siege tanks, but he was a little bit late. And the problem is, you can hit it several different times with a Roach Baneling attack, and that was actually an extremely fast hit. That's a little bit quicker than you see it a lot of the time, because he basically got speed quite quickly, so quickly that it looked like he got it specifically to deal with Reapers. But as it was